Okay, and welcome to the next PCSA Maths revision video, this time on the topic of area. Now, as always, if you've got any questions, you feel free to tweet us at PCSA Maths, and you must never forget that this is just one of the ways in which you can communicate with us and advise us of your weak areas so that we can upload a video on that topic. Now, we're not going to cover everything to do with the area today. We're just going to make sure we cover some of the key topics, and I'm sure that you'll be able to work through these in tutor time or with your teachers. Now, some of the area formula again that you must never forget are the area of circle is pi times r squared, so pi times the radius squared. The area of a rectangle is your base times your height. The area of a trapezium, which is a formula you'll actually be given on your exam, is half times a plus b multiplied by height, and the area of a triangle is half times base times height. Some of the other areas that you'll be asked to recall in your examination is you might be asked for the area of a parallelogram. Now, it only takes a minute to remember the area of this one is your base times your height, your perpendicular height in this case. Another aspect is the trapezium. Now, this is a quadrilateral, so a four-sided shape where two of its sides are parallel. So the two sides that are parallel in this case are this side and this side here. And I just pray that you'll be able to remember that in your examinations. Now, the area for working out the area of a trapezium is half multiplied by a plus b multiplied by the height. So your a is your top length and the b is this length here. You add those together before you multiply by a half or multiply by 0.5 and then multiply it by this perpendicular height. Now, again, you might be faced with some of these trickier triangle questions, and in this case it's important to remember that not only is the area of a triangle half times base times height, but this height here is the perpendicular height. So it's a right angle, there's a height at a right angle up to the highest point of the triangle. So it's not this slope distance here. Now, everything changes when we see these triangles because a lot of people just multiply the height as this value here. For example, in this triangle, one technique that you might want to do is if you look, then you just rotate your paper and you will see that all of a sudden we can see that it becomes simply a case of knowing that this distance here is your perpendicular height. So you would add that height into your equation for working out the area. Now, we're going to do a couple of past paper questions on this particular topic. Just have a little patience while I bring up some details here. So in this case, ABC is a right angle triangle. Can you work out the area of a triangle? Now, hopefully we remembered that the area of a triangle is half times base times height. So in this case, the base is 8 centimeters, our height is 7 centimeters. So we do half multiplied by 8 multiplied by 7, and that gives us an answer of 28. Now, it's not just 28 because we need to remember our units. Units for area are always squared units. In this case, our unit is centimeters, so our answer is going to be centimeters squared. Now, this is just one method for doing this question. Some people prefer to do the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Has exactly the same answer. So we do 7 multiplied by 8 divided by 2. 7 multiplied by 8 is 56, divided by 2 gives us an answer of 28. Again, we need to remember centimeters squared. Could it be magic that you get the mark for that one? No, you always just need to remember the units for area are squared units. Now, this next question here, again, we're looking at working out the area of this shape. Now, this would probably be a 3-mark question. Two different ways we can work out this question. We can break it down into two different shapes. If you notice here, we have a rectangle shape and we also have a triangle shape. So we can work out the area of the rectangle. So the area of the rectangle is simply base times height, so that's 7 multiplied by 5, which is going to give us 35. And again, we mustn't forget that we got centimeters squared. And then the area of a triangle, again, we're doing half times base times height. So if we had a calculator, we would do 0.5 times base. I know that base is 4 centimeters, times by my height, which is 5 centimeters. So we're going to do 0.5 multiplied by in this case 20, and then that would give us an answer of 10 centimeters squared. Add this one and this one together, we get an answer of 45 centimeters squared in total. For this question, they've actually given you the centimeters squared. Another way we could do that is to notice, well, this actually, the shape of this is actually a trapezium. So we could use the formula half multiplied by A plus B multiplied by the height. In this case, we've got 0.5 multiplied by A would be this top distance here, 7 centimeters, plus B, which is the bottom distance, 7 plus 4, which is 11, multiplied by the height, which in this case again is 5, which would leave us with 0.5 multiplied by 7 plus 11, which is 18, multiplied by 5, which again gives us 45 centimeters squared. And I would make sure I put my answer on the number line, 45 centimeters squared. Final one we're going to look at in this particular question is work out the area of this shape. Again, it's what we call a compound shape because it's made up of two separate shapes. How I would do this one is I would think to myself, well, what I can do is if I were to put in an imaginary line here, I've broken this shape up into a rectangle and I've broken it up into a triangle. So I would just work out the area of the rectangle and I'd work out the area of the triangle. I'm going to leave you to try that one yourself while I move on to a slightly trickier question. You can try that question out for yourself and then give us one of the answers. So I'm going to finally leave you with working out this question here. Now sometimes you might be asked slightly more detailed question where there's a lot of words in the question. It's asking you to apply your knowledge. This is no harder than any of the questions that you've seen so far. Now we're looking at a garden in the shape of a rectangle. Part of it is patio and the rest of the garden is grass. So Mrs. Kunal wants to spread fertilizer all over grass. One box of fertilizer is enough for 32 meters squared of grass. How many boxes of fertilizers will she need? Now from this I immediately know that one of the things I'm going to need to do is work out the area of grass. So again, a couple of different ways I could do this. The way in which I'm going to do it is I'm going to work out the area of the whole garden and then take away the area of the patio. So to work out the area of the whole garden, I'm going to do again 12 times 7. 12 times 7 is going to give me an answer of 84 meters squared. So the whole area of the garden is 84 meters squared. Now I need to subtract from that the area of the patio. How do I work out the area of the patio? Well, it's a triangle, so I do half times base times height. So I'm going to do half times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 3, which will give me an answer of 9 meters squared. So I know that the area of the garden, area of the grass that I'm looking for is going to be 84 minus the 9, which gives me an area of 75 meters squared. Now up to this point you've probably got half of the marks for the question, but the key part here again is one box of fertilizer is enough for 32 meters squared of grass. How many boxes of fertilizers will we need? Well, if I know that one box does 32 meters squared and I want to do 75 meters squared, what I need to do is I need to divide 75 meters squared by 32, and that would give me an answer around 2.34. Now I can't have 2.34 boxes, so therefore I must need a total of 3 boxes in total, because 3 boxes is going to be sufficient to cover, 2 boxes wouldn't be. So I hope you continue with the use of these YouTubes. I hope that they're useful for you, and obviously if you continue to use them, hopefully we can make Results Day one of the greatest days. Okay, thanks very much. Bye bye.